This video is supported in part by Retro Days, a place for nostalgia nerds to gather, share memories, chat, and engage. Go to retrodays.com or check their YouTube channel linked below. There are new developments in the saga of the Arcade1Up Partycade. I'm bringing them to you right now.
Don't you know that you're a grown up? No games, no puns. Not allowed if you're a grown up.
Hey there, welcome back to GenXGrownUp. I'm John. I am a GenXGrownUp. Thank you for checking out this video and hopefully the rest of the channel. I promised that I would be back with more on this Partycade, assuming there was something worth talking about, and there finally is. So thanks for sticking around and coming back to see what's up. Now, don't think you have to go watch all of these videos. I'll put a link to the playlist up in the corner though if you would like to see more. But basically, early December of 2019, I got the Partycade exclusive to HSN, manufactured by Arcade1Up. Did a full review of that, and I wasn't super stoked because of kind of some latency problems in playing some of the higher end games like Galaga. Now, we got a lot of great engagement on that first video, but there were a lot of comments that said, John, you're out of your mind. There's nothing wrong with that game. You're just kind of nitpicking. So I did a follow-up where I took those games in the Partycade and I put them side by side with the same game running in MAME using the original arcade ROM, like Arcade1Up Partycade is doing, and I found out that for sure I wasn't crazy, I wasn't losing my mind, it did have performance issues. And while that did help some, it turns out that some people were saying, no John, now you're out of your mind because you're using MAME, and MAME isn't accurate. MAME is notoriously accurate, but that was fine. So I did another follow-up where I hopped in the car and drove down to my local arcade and compared Galaga and Pac-Man side by side with a real arcade Galaga and Pac-Man. And again, Galaga was the biggest offender here, running at, I don't know, 20% slower than it should or so, beyond just audio issues. In the fourth video in the series, I finally took the advice of many of the folks in the comments saying you should open a ticket with Arcade1Up to get this Partycade, diagnosed, repaired, replaced, whatever it is that they would do to it. In that video, I also did a comparison side by side with the Partycade compared to the 3/4 scale machines, also from Arcade1Up. And finally, ultimately, I think I squashed the rumor that I was making it up. All Partycades are all experiencing that latency issue that I saw in my initial review. We even spoke at length about the Arcade1Up Partycade in our audio podcast, and I'll throw a link to that up in the corner if you're into podcasts at all. But we talked about this whole journey and the videos we've been posting and the engagement we're getting. Okay, I promised there was more now to the story, which is why part 5 now, I guess we're up to. Let me pick it up roughly where I left off in the last video. On December 12th of 2019, I left a support case with Arcade1Up, and on the 15th, just 3 days later, I got a response saying, hey, we're taking a look at this, we're sending it to our engineers, and we're gonna find out what's up and get back to you. Well, if you've had any experience with Arcade1Up support, you probably won't be surprised to hear that I didn't hear anything for a long time. And I wasn't going to pester them. I know they're busy, and I'm a patient kind of guy, more or less. But then when I saw the new Partycades at CES crop up, I sent a follow-up to them on January 8th, saying, look, I see you're doing new Partycades, and maybe you want to talk about getting me one of the new ones. I'd like a happy ending to this story. Maybe I can show an old one versus a new one. You might have even seen the video by YouTube channel Cool Toy, where they were live on the floor at CES. They touted the new ones were a little smaller and a little cheaper and more titles available. So I definitely wanted to see what more there is coming up, but again, no response from that. Let me fast forward then to January 18th of this year. I started to see rumors on Facebook and in the comments of my other videos in this series that Arcade1Up was starting to ship replacement PCBs for the Partycades from the Home Shopping Network. And so I dropped them another line on the same ticket thread saying, hey, I hear you got new PCBs coming out. I would love to get one and close this case out. No response again. I know you guessed that already. I waited another week, and then on January 27th, just a couple days ago, as I record this, I pinged them again saying, look, I've had this case open for nearly 2 months now. The only response was automated. I asked you about what the status was. I asked you about the new Partycades. I asked you about the new PCB. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Now, of course, this whole story extends well beyond just my experience. Some of the great people that I met in the comments to our other videos started reaching out to me and going, John, these boards are shipping. It looks like they fixed the problem. I wanted to know, and though I don't have the boards, through the power of networking, I reached out and got some more information for you. Let's start with Simon M. he received brand new PCBs from Arcade1Up. Now, in order to get reaction from Arcade1Up, it turns out he actually had to open a second support ticket just to get attention to his first support ticket, but he did get a response and he got the new board. He even sent a photo. Here's the version 1 board that you can see originally. It's got the V01 right in the corner there. And the version 2 looks almost identical, except on that decal it says version 2. So he cracked open the back, he plugged it in, and he reported it fixed the problems with Galaga and the other games that were giving us all issues. And I want to thank Simon for his help with this video. Without him, I wouldn't have the images to show you of the new boards. And while I trusted what he said that it fixed the problem, like you, I want to see for myself. In order to get some video evidence of what this new version of the PCB is going to do, I reached out to another friend that we met through comments in the previous videos, and that was Jake Rock and his son, Antioch. Now, they are both big fans of GenXGrownUp and watch here all the time. And in fact, if you are not yet subscribed to GenXGrownUp, look for the little bar that lifts and do like Antioch did. Click that subscribe button in the corner, maybe enable those notifications. You can watch way more of our Gen X inspired stuff just like this. Now, they got the new PCB and they installed it as well. So thank you to Jake and Antioch for sending in a video that's going to allow us now, like the previous ones, to side by side compare. Now in this video, what I have is the original arcade machine, and then in the middle I have the version 1 PCB, and on the right I have the version 2 PCB. I've got them synced up right at the end of the music, and now watch. You can clearly see the version 2 board all but eliminates any kind of latency to Galaga. And it's only maybe a couple of frames off from the real genuine arcade machine. I'm gonna just chalk that up to a different camera or different shutter speed because it looks darn near identical. In fact, if I saw this version first, I would not have even had an inkling that it was running anything other than absolute 100% accurate. And I tend to believe that's what's happening in this new board. Effectively, Arcade1Up has acknowledged, albeit tacitly, that there was a problem with the partycade. We all saw it, we all knew it, all the naysayers that said mine was weird, we've proven there was a problem with it, they're addressing it, and the addressed new version of the PCB fixes the very problem that we were having issue with. Now, I have also heard some people report that there's latency from the joystick controlling games like Pac-Man. There's a little bit of a delay between when they move the stick and when Pac-Man responds, and they're missing corners and missing reverses and things. Now that may be, I didn't observe that myself. It could have been there the whole time, I don't know. But I was so kind of laser focused on the actual latency problem that was really driving me bananas, maybe I just didn't notice. It's possible that this PCB version 2 also addresses that problem, if in fact it did exist. What I can tell you is that once I finally get my replacement board from my partycade, I'll do at least one more follow-up video where I install it and compare side by side, real-time, recorded on the same camera, verifying that all is well with the partycade. So if you're enjoying this series documenting my journey with the Arcade1Up Partycade, I hope you'll stick around to see what is hopefully the last chapter in this saga. I sure hope you found something in this video to enjoy, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye. GenXGrownUp is dedicated to bringing you new Generation X inspired videos every week. Here are a couple more you can watch right now, but for even more, subscribe and enable those notifications. And if you love what we do, we invite you to support us over on Patreon. And of course, your feedback in the comments and a quick thumbs up are always appreciated.